Hello, is it me you're looking for? I think I'm singing that right. Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your smile. It's too early, okay? But I initially started this live off, y'all, before I came live for real, like before I hit the live button. I was singing, have you ever loved somebody so much that you cry? Have you ever needed? It's too early, okay? But good morning. Good morning. I'm not gonna be live long, y'all. I'm up early because today is my kid's last day of school, and I have to wake my daughter up at 5:30 to do her hair. It's her last day of school, y'all. And guess what? My baby is turning 11. She's turning 11. Y'all see how I did that? 11. Then I'm like, 11. Me and my husband, okay, in my peach voice, me and my husband, we was playing with the kids, y'all. We really weren't doing that, but we was playing. Wait, can anybody hear me? It don't look like you're late, you're late, you're late. It don't look like anybody can hear the Vaughn. Okay, wait, okay, so y'all can hear me. Okay. But anyway, we were talking about code switching. Well, we really weren't talking about it. Um, but he was making fun of me because of the way that I talk, yeah. And he was asking me, I guess it's like this challenge or something viral going on why do I feel like can't nobody hear me? Hold on, let me go see some. I'll be back. Don't nobody go nowhere. Uh-oh. Okay, y'all can hear me. I had to go check. But anyway, but what was I saying? He was making fun of the way that I speak, okay? The way that I talk. And I guess there's like some thing on Facebook where it's um like you say car, water, like a Chicago challenge or something. And I'm like car. And my daughter's like, Dad says car. And I'm like, yeah, like so he laughing, y'all. He being funny. He like, oh, I'm like, yeah. Are you forgetting? I'm not like born I was not born in Chicago. I was born in the suburbs. I speak properly. He like, oh. But what's funny, and y'all, we do this every now and then where it's like I literally forget. I'm like, and I told him that. I was like, babe, I be forgetting that you talk funny. Like it don't even I don't know. It comes and it goes. I'm like, you say, he don't say water, yeah, he say like water. To make sure y'all know can't nobody hear me. Oh Lord, I come back. Okay, I think I'm back. But yeah, so we were laughing about that. But anyway, y'all, I have a question because this has been on my mind for a while because I've been feeling this way, y'all. And I was actually telling my husband about it. I'm like, yo, but have you ever, like, I don't know if this is like the spark. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know where it's coming from. Well, that's a lie. I take that back. I know where it's coming from. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna tell any lies. Okay, today. um, sometimes when we get on these lives, y'all, well, I ain't gonna say we, but I know for me, this is why I stay off live. Hey, good morning, Roselle. Roselle, buddy. It's been a long time. Okay. Good morning, honey. But I know for me when I get on these lives, y'all, and this is why I personally I don't go live on my channel no more because I be trying to be careful about what I say and how I say it and da da da. But I think I'm coming away from that because my focus is just somewhere different. And God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and of a sound mind. And we don't have to overthink anything, honestly, if we don't want to. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Sometimes I want to overthink things, and sometimes it just naturally happens. Like I notice when I want to overthink something, it's because I really don't want to do it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like, I try to let my yes be yes and my no be no. And when I don't want to do something, I'm not doing it. And when I want to do something, I do it. Like, period. But anyway, listen. So I've been thinking about this a lot. And I'm wondering, like, has anybody else felt this way? Like, you want, you have a desire for, it's like you just kind of wake up one day and you like, man, this is not where I want to be, you know? And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I feel like I've had this before, but it's something different. It's almost like I know there's greater for me. I just have to go and get it or something. I don't know, y'all. But I've really been just going through like all these different changes anyway. And I'm like, does anybody else feel like this? Like, is there something in the energy? I mean, in the air? Am I alone in this? But I've just been. I was listening to somebody talk on TikTok, and they were like, you know, forget support from other people. Like, you got to support yourself. And I'm like, I've heard this a lot. I've even told, like, I've talked to other people, and I'm pouring into them, they're pouring into me. And it's like, you really gotta, in order to be successful in life, you have to believe in yourself. You cannot look for support from outsiders. And I just think I'm in a place where I'm no longer looking for validation from the public. And I'm not talking about social media, I'm talking about like in my real life. It's like, I'm okay with doing this, I'm comfortable with doing this, and I'm just going for it, right? But it's like there's something in me that's kind of like, you know what? As long as it's not offending God, I want to do it. At the same time, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like you can be striving for something while, and another thing I've kind of realized is like a lot of, and I'm not talking about successful in money or in business, but people who are just successful, period. Like you got a lot of younger people my age that have their hands in many different businesses, right? And they, may call themselves a Jane or jack of all trades. But if we take it a step back and we look at some of the celebrities, right, or actors, actresses, singers, um, before they got comfortable in acting or, okay, I'm gonna be a singer, they had their hands in many other things until they found what actually worked for them. And the other night, I was watching the Dead Poets Society. Y'all remember that movie with Robin Williams and the young boys, and they was all in school, and they had poetry class or literature, whatever you want to call it, the class. And he was basically encouraging them to seize the day, like live in the moment, basically take one day at a time, but live and enjoy, life, right? And remember, one of the boys' fathers, he was hell bent on him becoming a doctor, but the boy wanted to be, I think he wanted to be in art. Like, well, I was gonna say he wanted to be an actor, but I think he had a thing for the arts. So he did one play, and his father's like, "Oh, I'm taking you out of the school. You gonna be a doctor." Woo, woo, woo. And the boy ended up unaliving himself. And so it just sent me down like a rabbit hole of like, you know, there's a lot of people, especially that I've seen on social media, that's really big on not just having one um craft, we'll say. You got people out here selling purses and plates and doing hair, okay? Selling perfumes. You got people on, like, we'll say D Love's Life, for example. She was, before she was doing mukbang, she was a daycare lady. Then it's like she went to work or whatever. Then she did mukbangs, but now she on TikTok selling clothes. It's like I was thinking about that. Like, I know for me, y'all, I really be looking for like one thing to just settle on because that's a lot of what I see, and it's not like a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? But even those same people who have like jobs, we'll say like 9 to 5 and stuff like that, y'all, they have hobbies. And I'm like, I'm a hobby type of girl. Like, I like to color, okay? I like to read, you know what I'm saying? I can see myself sewing or even knitting. I don't know, but I like to just do little things. I like to put stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Like all type. I like to do a bunch of little different stuff. But when it comes to like my career or like something that I'm gonna make money from, for some reason it just has to be like one thing. And I'm like, is that because like I'm asking myself, like, is that because you know like where does that even come from? Because nobody in my life ever told me, oh, you can only do this. You can't do nothing else. But I will say in the past when I have ran ideas by people in my real life, there was like a lot of negativity from it. And I've always heard, people want you to do good, just not better than them. And I never took it as that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I never looked at it as, oh, people don't, I just kind of felt like I was more outside of the box type thinking. And, you know, people didn't want to see me get hurt or be disappointed. I kind of took it as a little positive. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, okay? I've been going down, and I don't know if this is good or bad, what I'm gonna say. I just know I've been going down a few rabbit holes in my head. And I'm like, you know what? There was I'm gonna say maybe two or a few people. It wasn't a whole lot of people or nothing like that. But I can honestly say I know two people for sure. You know, they're very negative. They're very negative when it comes to, you know, certain things. And someone else in my family was just like, that's why such and such don't deal with them. And for me, it's like a confirmation because I really thought it was just me. I'm like, sometimes you be tripping, Vaughn. Like, I have to tell myself, like, girl, you be tripping. Somebody will say something and you might think this and it don't even be that. But I think I was on spot with that. I could be wrong. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I could be wrong, but I think I'm on point. Like, you cannot tell everybody, your ideas. You really can't because especially when you're really young. Because I can honestly say I know for a fact my best friend when we were young, like I'm talking about high school, y'all. She had told me and a couple of our other friends like her plans and stuff for life, and they were so negative, but I wasn't. I was like, you can do anything you want to do. Like everybody don't have to go to college, and I was only saying that because that's what she wanted. She didn't want to do that. And I'm the kind of person like if you tell me you want to do something, I don't care what it is. Like I said, as long as it's not offending God, we're good. And I've always kind of been that way as a person, even before I got saved. Like I I made it my business. Honestly, y'all, I'm lying. I didn't make nothing my business. That's just who I am. But I will say because I knew right from wrong, or I never wanted to encourage people to do the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when it's like serious life, changing, life altering things. I never ever wanted to send nobody down the wrong path. I will say I've, made mistakes. I've given wrong advice. I'm not gonna lie and say I have it. I have. But I'm not going to intentionally try to sabotage, anybody. Like that's just not me. But I said all that to say like, if you tell me you want to start a car business, I'm be like, well, you should do it. Like it's like natural. That's just who I am. But and what here's what I will say though about my best friend. My best friend has also encouraged me to start and do things. And I'm kind of iffy. I'll be like, I don't know. But anyway, what I was gonna say was that I really believe that when you get that feeling, I don't care how old you are, because I know a lot of people feel like they're older and da da da. But somebody had said to me a couple years ago that why is my I don't y'all it's something going wrong with my what you call it. But I guess that's just how it go when we're on YouTube. I don't know. Let me see. La 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 la. Okay, we got yeah. La 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 la. Okay. I don't know because it just keep looking like can't nobody hear me, and it's kind of hold on now. You know what? It's just time for some new headphones. It's time for some new headphones, y'all. That's it. But anyway, yeah. Well, I've been having this deep desire to really pursue something, not just one thing, but many things, y'all. And I'm like, I can't sleep, y'all. Like I'm like, usually when I can't sleep, it's because I'm stressed. You know, I will say I am overthinking, but in a positive way, because it's more like I'm trying to figure out what direction to go in. I had a dream actually about how I'm feeling about my son going to school and really about my future. And I'm like, I know that speaks volumes if I'm dreaming about how I'm feeling about the future because you know we dream our feelings, we can say warnings, blessings, things we need to pray against, things we need to pray for. Like I could go all into that, but I literally had a dream about how I feel about my future, and I'm like, okay, you know I so what's this, May, June, July, August. So I have like 3 months, to really figure out well, I'm not gonna say I have 3 months. I'm not gonna put a deadline on it like, oh, I only got 3 months to like really get my life together. No, I don't feel that way. I will say, um, that my life is changing. Um, I can honestly admit that I did not think I would be where I'm at by the time my last kid got out of the house to go to school. But I also don't feel that it's just like such a bad thing either. You know, hold on, y'all. I'm getting a text message. Yeah, okay. I thought they was gonna tell me they was in my bushes. I was gonna say, Lord. But yeah, like I've been dreaming. Honestly, I've had a few dreams that are quite interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a few dreams that are really, really interesting. And I don't know, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I just wanted to come live for a minute. I know it's been a long time since I've actually gone live, so I'm not expecting a bunch of people to be in my chat. But I just want to know, like, does anybody else feel like, you know, are you desiring change? Because I am. I'm desiring change. Like, it's so deep. It's really deep, and it's almost like I can taste it. It's like I know things are about to change. And I'm not just talking about my son going to school. I'm like, a lot of times I really think I just be I can sense when something is about to happen. Is somebody calling me? Okay then. I can sense when something, big, whether it's good or bad, is about to happen. Most of the time it's bad, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Most of the time I can sense when bad things are gonna happen. Whether it's with me or with somebody else. It's like you can just sense it. I don't well I'm gonna say I will say when it's concerning me I can feel it. It's like, ooh, I don't know what that's about, but yeah. But yeah, it's like I can just feel that something good is about to happen. This kind of reminds me of that song, Something Good is About to Happen. Something God is about to take place. If y'all ever heard that song, y'all know what I'm singing. Hey, Glib. Hey, honey. Good morning. Just cruising YouTube streets and saw you live. Listen, Glib, the YouTube streets are dangerous now. Like, and I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I've been over there on the TikTok streets, and baby, it's dangerous over there too. I just been all in them people bushes, but it's kind of early to be cruising. People is live this early. Glib. I ain't gonna hold you. It's a lot of people I don't watch no more, child. Listen, listen. It's like, no, I just can't do it. I cannot. I can't. Like, for my peace of mind, I just can't. It's like, let me tell y'all, like, that's what I want to say too. I was, um, I was really in my head about a few things when it comes to YouTube. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I feel like not just this side of YouTube. I feel like anywhere on the internet because um no, you know what? I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. If you trying to make money from your YouTube, because I know some of y'all do have TikTok, but if you really ready to like grow and build your own community, and this I'm literally telling y'all what I see. And I just feel like if you really trying to have a successful platform, whether you being positive, whether you about the drama, whatever, go to TikTok because they are literally like right now, the TikTokers are joining each other's panels to battle people. They call it begging, y'all. I think it's kind of funny but they call it begging. People are joining, and no, they call it battling. My bad. Peach McIntyre called it. I think she said professional begging. I don't know. But anyway, y'all. But if you really trying to get you some money or you trying to start over, I'm gonna keep it all the way real with y'all. I actually have someone in mind when I'm talking about this because if you like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. To me, YouTube. Hey, hey, how you doing? He said I wake up at 4:35. Oh, okay, okay. Unc, I'm so proud. Why you ain't got no wrench? Hold on, I don't like this. Hold on. You should have a wrench. Because I know Anaya got one. Tell my sister I said, hey, I love you so much. I miss y'all. But no, no, no. Matter of fact, I'm glad you in here, Rasheed. Listen, because if you trying to like just do content or like what like any like when I tell y'all go on TikTok live, go live on TikTok. Like any type of content. And I ain't trying to hear that, oh, I don't need no money. No, let me tell y'all something. Over on TikTok, that's where the money is. Like to me, this YouTube, and I'm not just talking about specific people, I'm talking about anybody. Because I want to say somebody from over in J4K is over there and they're making their money. Okay. Like I'm not even being funny. If you're past the drama and the negativity and you just wanna, go live and kick it with people or whatever, have conversations. You wanna cook, you wanna clean, you wanna show your truck, Uncle She, you wanna show like whatever. Like go on TikTok, like for real. Because this it's like a whole different type of mindset, algorithm, ball game. I feel like the stuff that's going on over here, y'all, like you can actually be making money. Like I don't care if y'all take the whole community and go over there. But nah, all jokes aside though, like whatever you trying to do, you can do it on TikTok. And people will support you, like for real. Like I was just looking, y'all, and see the thing with TikTok is when as soon as you come in the chat, it tells you who's watching, your channel or whatever. But it be so many people in there, it really don't even matter. And I'm not just talking about big channels. I'm talking about small TikToks, big TikToks. Like it's different communities. It's spiritual conversations, sex conversations, work conversations. Yes, go check it out, Oversheet. Like it's totally different. And me personally, I just look at it like, of course, you got people that be beefing and into it, but everybody's making money. Everybody's making money. Like everybody. It ain't no like, you know what I'm saying? Like you got people that's, like clicked up and ganged up and stuff like that, but they're all still making their individual money. It ain't just one person trying to eat off this person or, stuff like that. Like, and if you about that drama, TikTok got plenty of drama, baby, plenty. I will say I think their rules and their guidelines and stuff is a little different than YouTube. But he said I don't be on TikTok. Look, go over there. Just go to TikTok live and just scroll through and look at the people on TikTok. And they have the options where you can cam up or not too. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I've already been on TikTok. Everybody know what I look like. So I don't think I would go over there and keep my camera off. Because I'm like, I want to start a whole damn podcast. I've been telling my husband this for a minute. I'm like, Jim, I want to start a podcast. And funny enough, y'all, he told me I should start one the other day. And I'm like, I've been thinking about that for years. Like, well, maybe only about the last 3 years. I've really been thinking I should start a podcast. But I gotta go in a minute, y'all. 'Cause like I said, I'm up because I gotta do this girl here. Because her birthday is Saturday and today's her last day of school. And she need a fresh new look because my baby is going to the 6th grade, y'all. I know I'm old. My oldest child will be 11 years old come Saturday. It'll be 11 years ago. I gave birth to her. and young Vaughn will officially be auntie. Hold on, y'all. I don't want to eat this ice in y'all ear. But yeah, I will be 32 with an 11-year-old. Yes, ma'am. So, and y'all, my husband Jim gonna be 35. Like we're old now. Like my youngest daughter gonna say, "Dada, you unk for real." I was like, "Damn, why you gotta do your daddy like that?" But anyway, y'all. Yeah. So um, things are changing around here. But anyway, if you trying to get you some money or whatever, or content, a new community going, I advise any and everybody to go on TikTok. Because it's all types of trolling. Now, I will say doxing and all that. I don't see too much of that going on TikTok. People getting doxed, but I'm sure it does exist. But if you trying to, he said, "Girl, y'all still babies." But if y'all, trying to change your ways or get away from negativity, you trying to start over, go to TikTok because, like I said, I heard somebody from J4K is over there getting their money, and I even want to say I saw them. Uncle She, we is not still babies. We Jim finna be 35. I be trolling him though. I'm like, you the one getting old. I'm only 32, baby. I ain't even turned 33. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I cracked 50 this year. Oh, Glib, my parents are older than you. By a couple months though. By a couple months. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, life is okay, that's what I wanted to talk about. So so this is what I want to ask y'all. So I asked y'all, have y'all ever felt like, you wanted to do something or go for something in life, but you didn't know what it was. But let's talk about growth, okay, and what that feels like. It's like for me, y'all, it's like I just kind of looked up and I had a change of heart, a different mindset about a lot of different stuff all at once. Okay. But lately, it's been on my mind like, you know, what does that look like for my future? Like, because I've been watching a lot of content on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And I've been noticing a lot of people say everybody has a past. And it's like, when you really sit back and think about it, like we gonna say Portia Williams, for example. Now she may not be the best example to all of y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all what I get from this girl, well, this woman. Y'all know if y'all know who I'm talking about, Portia Williams from Atlanta Housewives. We didn't see Portia live at least three different lifestyles. She was a wife at one point with no children of her own, but she had stepchildren. Then she became single, dating, living life. Then she got pregnant, had a child of her own, was engaged to her child's father. Then she went and got married to somebody else's husband. Okay, let's just keep it real now. And now in 2026, she has a whole girlfriend. Now I be reading the comments and stuff when I watch Housewives because it's like I want to see what other people think. Some people feel negatively about her, but there are a lot of people who's like, she is living her life. All of our lives are not on television to be televised, right? Viewed and with the opinion and um views of others. But and this goes for y'all too that's in the chat that y'all talking about, y'all 50, right? Y'all 50 and up. At where you're at 50, when you think about being 18, don't your life look totally different from when you were 18 to 50? And another thing is, age is just a number. But think about how much time has passed in between then and now, and how much you've not only changed physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And if all of that was televised, do you think your life would be the same, like where you're at now, or do you think it would look different? Like, do you think you would have taken on the opinions of others? Or do you think you would have just continued to live in your truth? Because to me, a lot of these people that are in the spotlight, y'all, especially on the housewives, because a lot of them have been on housewives since they were in their early 30s, early 40s. Now they in their 50s and, going into 60. And Portia said, she was like, when you get in your 40s, you just kind of, you just, you start not to care. You just look at life different. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all know I'm Team Jesus. Okay, I believe that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. So we're gonna say 5 years ago, I wasn't like deep in really no type of spirituality at all. It's just like I knew God. I did, know something about Jesus or whatever. Pretty much everything that we've all been taught, right? But when I go even further back to like 18, and then I think about my 20s, which ain't that far away. But when I think about my early 20s and how like emotional and out of control I was, and I was just, you know, really living my life. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, according to what I wanted and thought was best for me. It was like I was doing what I wanted to do. Nobody forced me. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but nobody forced me. I was just living. And then, I started to look at life a little different. Like, hey, I think I'm kind of missing. I've missed out on a few things. Like, but I was, I was just different. I really was. I was different than what I am now. I'm just a little wiser. Just a little bit. Okay, we ain't gonna give me too much. We're not gonna do that. I've learned, you know, from my old self. I've learned from a lot of people. I've learned, from mistakes and decisions that I've made. I've learned a whole lot. But it just got me thinking like if you continue, this is what I was telling myself, like if you continue to live your life, that is displeasing to you, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not happy, you're not satisfied, you're always looking for more, never pursuing it out of fear. What would your life look like? It'll be full of regrets, you know what I'm saying? And I said all that to say, you know, Portia may be not the best example. She may not be a role model to some people. She may not even be something to be having a conversation about to certain people. But to me, I learned something from her. I'm like, she's living her life in her, we can say, truth. She's being, instead of, living how other people think she should live. And if she can do that, what's wrong with other people doing it? I feel like the one good thing about social media and reality TV is it gives the illusion that you really can be anything that you want to be. and do anything that you want to do. Now, everybody don't go about that the right way. And what I mean by the right way is, we're going to say with decency and morals, right? But there are some people that do, and there are some people that don't, but they learn, they dust themselves off and they keep going. And that's one thing I really got out of Portia and her timeline. Because I remember when she first came on the show, and she was like the youngest in the group, and Nene was supposed to be like her, whatever, right? Do y'all remember that? Her mentor. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I think she's learned a lot from Nene because I see a lot of Nene's mannerisms in her as far as how to do reality TV. It's I'm gonna say as far as how to do reality television. I think she has learned a lot from her predecessor. Okay, I think the girl has learned a lot. Now, she's not the only example I can give. I have relatives and friends who have lived multiple lifestyles or what we call lifetimes. I call it lifetimes because to me, like for the women and men who have been married before, they've had a first marriage and a second marriage. I feel like that first marriage was a life time for them. Or for that mom who, may have had one kid but then she had another one. Or that lady or man who started out doing construction work but then decided to do um what can we say they hell they decided to write a book and be an author, right? It's like, and they're successful at it, you know different lifetimes. Like I have relatives who I remember when they didn't have any children. Okay, nobody thought they would get a man. And boom, they got a whole husband and 5 kids. They'd be like, damn. Okay, they may not actually have 5 kids, y'all, but I'm just talking so y'all can get the point. But it's like in life, in real life, if we stop, imagine how many people who were married that first time decided, I'm not gonna get married anymore. But then they got married again and they had a kid. Never thought they was gonna have another kid. Like imagine how many people wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for their parents' second marriage. So how I'm looking at life is if we don't go after this opportunity or this open door or this possibility, it's almost like you're not going to birth a future for others because believe it or not, all of our destinies, lifestyles, decisions, um, purpose, purpose in life is tied to somebody else. It may not just be your family. So I'm gonna give y'all an example. Let's say you start a job and the company, CEO is the person who inspires you to strive to be a CEO. Without that particular CEO and what he or she did in their journey to become CEO, without them doing that, you wouldn't have felt like you was able to do it as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of my favorite movies is The Lion King, Circle of Life. Okay, y'all remember that movie? And it's like it's the circle, like the lion has to eat the antelope, right? And if the lions don't eat the antelope, you know, all type like I ain't gonna lie, I can't remember in detail what it's like the food chain, the animal food chain. But my point is that we all have a purpose in life, and if we don't go after it, it's almost like other people's lives are also affected too. Like when these black people they start businesses and they give other black people jobs or people just jobs in general. And it's like, well, I wouldn't even be working and putting food on the table for my kids and my family if I don't put into this company. Like this is my job, you know, such and such gave me this opportunity and this is why I go so hard because and that's why good management is needed and a blessing because without good managers, people don't want to work. Good morning, Queen. I miss you, honey. Hi. You getting up for work. If Queen don't get up and go to work, okay, there are little people's lives, you know, that are at stake here. Okay. It's like they're not gonna learn. Who's gonna teach the children? Now we can say, oh, it's plenty of teachers, but no, there's something that Queen gives to those children that one of those kids or teachers, okay, or the janitor, anybody could learn from her or inspire them to do and be better in life. You know what I'm saying? I know this is like a really deep thought, y'all, but this is what I've just been thinking about. Like, I feel like everybody has potential and not just potential, but everybody has a purpose. Even the people we think don't like the people that we think are absolutely nothing in life, like those people can change too. Of course they have to want to change. It may and the funny thing about it is that what I've learned, y'all, is that sometimes the people that you think that will never amount to anything, if they would just it's like those same gifts that they allow to go to waste or to use and manipulate people. If they would take those gifts and do something good with it, they would take off. But what I've learned is that the enemy, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So he wants to steal our purpose. You know what I'm saying? He wants to destroy our calling in life and he wants to kill our self esteem, get in your mind, kill your confidence, and make you feel like you don't deserve anything more than who you are and what you got going on at the moment. And another thing that I've learned, y'all, is that the devil does not know the future, he only knows the past. And he uses our past. Hold on, what you say? She said they ain't gotta learn. But he uses our past. So let's say you used to steal. Let's say, and here's nothing, it's this girl on TikTok who used to be a booster, a scammer, not a booster, but a known scammer here in Chicago. And she's living a whole, I ain't gonna say a whole different lifestyle. I'm not gonna say who it is. And no, I'm not condoning her full lifestyle, but she is living a scam free life. That's what I'm going to say. She's not robbing and stealing from people anymore. She makes her money on TikTok. She makes her money on TikTok. Now, imagine if, let's just say the enemy was telling her, oh, you used to be a scammer. Nobody's going to support you. Da, 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 da. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know what God has for her, and I'm not here to speak against nobody, but I just want y'all to think. Imagine if she would have allowed the enemy to play on her mind and tell her nobody's going to support you because you used to scam people, and she hadn't took that chance to push forward in life and try to make a living honestly because that's kind of the world that we're living in. If you've ever been to jail, oh, it's hard for you to get a job. But a lot of people that's been in jail, y'all, have started their own businesses. Okay, they, it's so not just start their own business, but they went and gotten certified. They went and gotten degrees. They put themselves in the position to be able to earn an honest living, especially if they were known or they went to, jail for theft, fraud, scamming. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're living in a world where possibility is everywhere. You just have to go for it. You have to take it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of y'all may think I'm only speaking on success. I'm actually talking about just the desire to be a better person. If you know you're not, living right, you know what I'm saying? You have a bad track record, you like always finding yourself in mischief, things are always going bad for you, you just sowed a lot of bad seeds and you want to turn your life around. You just no longer want to be, I'm just going to keep it real, a vile and disgusting person. That possibility is there too. You just have to want it. And the question I really should have asked was, what do you want? I think we ask ourselves, what do we want when it comes to money and success, love, um, you know what I'm saying? But do we really ask ourselves what it is that we want when it comes to our emotions, our emotional health, our physical health? Do you want to be happy? But what does that look like? Does your happiness is your happiness going to cause other people harm? I don't think we think unselfishly at times, because it could be like, oh, like yeah, I was watching Jim had me watch this. I didn't watch the rest of the movie. It was called City of Angels. And while the angels, what time is it? Okay, yeah, I gotta go. But I want y'all to think about this. So it was like while the angels were, you know, we're gonna say floating around, they could hear people's thoughts. And the lady was in the car and she's putting on her mascara and she was like, he's never gonna leave her. I laughed, I made a joke. I'm like, duh. But then I thought about it like, I sat and I thought about that. This woman is basing her happiness on somebody else's unhappiness. Because if that husband leaves his wife to make you happy, someone is left unhappy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think enough women really look at it like that, or men. Like, I want this man's wife, I want her to come be with me. I want her to come be my wife. But that's causing somebody else to be unhappy. So like you have to even look at that when you're stealing from people. Like, so in order for you to get $50 or scamming, in order for you to get $50, you have to manipulate someone else in order to get it. And you may think, oh, it ain't costing them nothing because they got it. But what does it cost you? You know what I'm saying? Because everything comes with a price, and I'm not talking about dollar sign price. I'm talking about like we can do things that we pay for spiritually, right? So while you're setting yourself up to be happy by taking somebody else's spouse, or while you're setting up yourself by taking someone's money under false pretenses, you know what I'm saying? What are you sowing? Like, and yeah, what are you sowing? You know what I'm saying? Are you sowing seeds of, joy or pain? Because it may not cost that person anything because they got it,
but it may cost them their peace of mind. Meaning every time somebody come ask me for money, is it just to use me? Is it to manipulate me? You know what I'm saying? You could be blocking other people's blessings by how you treat that person in particular. You know what I'm saying? That man that you're taking from somebody else's wife, now that woman is like scarred forever, closed off, don't trust no man. You know, you cause this woman so much pain. You and that husband or wife, has caused this other man or woman so much pain that they won't pursue love again. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really sit back and you just think about stuff, like how you treat kids. For me, lately, I've really been intentional with how I treat my kids. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy because I'm pretty strict with my children. And I really am kind of nonchalant when it comes to boundaries and things like that. It's like, oh, I said what I said. But since I've kind of changed my vocabulary a little bit around here, I'm trying not to cuss as much, you know, instead of saying shut up, it's like be quiet, or hush. I guess we can say my intention is not to be harsh with them. You know what I'm saying? Because how I treat them as children, whether it's a boy or a girl, that's what they're going to expect from their spouse, but not just their spouse, the outside world. Now, in my family, a lot of us are very desensitized. I'm not going to lie. I know for me, I'm breaking away. It's almost like I'm alive again. And I can be a little sensitive because I've been so desensitized for so long. You know, certain things just, I'm just a little different. And it's like, no, you don't want your kids to be overly sensitive, but you want your children to not think certain things are normal. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if I'm this way with my kids, they're going to think that that's normal. I grew up thinking certain things were normal and come to find out they weren't. They wouldn't. I don't know why I say they weren't. That's not even a word. But it was not normal. I'm going to say this. When you go to therapy and talk to a non-melanated cousin, that stuff is not normal. I also saw that on TikTok. Like people, like, oh man, y'all hate the way if y'all got a problem with this, and I feel the same way. Like y'all got a problem with that, man. Y'all wouldn't like my mama, but certain things are just not normal and they're not okay. It's just not. You know, one thing I will say I'm grateful for is that my mother, she's always said that we were little people. We had feelings and emotions, and she did her absolute best to, tend to those when she could. And I think I've taken it a little step further because I think I'm a little too soft on my children from what I've been told. I just let them get away with it. But it's like, I think I'm strict. Like me and my husband had a whole debate. He was talking about his nieces and nephews. He like, man, keep on. He's like, listen, okay, like we're not strict on our kids. I'm like, I think we are. And he say we not. That's what he say. He say he don't think we are. I'm like, I think we. Wait, did he say? Oh, yeah, I think he did say. Yeah, look, yeah, I'm finna go. I gotta go because I gotta get this girl up to do her hair. But I hope y'all enjoyed the live. I didn't mean to be here this long, but yeah, I have to go, and maybe we can continue this conversation another early morning. Um, I hope y'all enjoyed the live. I know I did. I have plenty more to say. This may be an ongoing topic for a little while. Have you ever? Do you wanna? How do you feel? Have you thought about? Like, I don't know. I have topics for days because, like I said, all I do is just kind of read, think and scroll. um, or I'm doing something. Y'all, I've been spending a lot of time outside. Let me tell y'all something, okay? But yeah, we'll talk about that another day. But I will see y'all next time on Vine's Reality. I hope, like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. I hope I inspired somebody. I hope I gave some gave somebody, some of y'all, all y'all something to think about. I don't know. Um, but just think about it, you know. Um, have you ever felt like it's time for a change? You know, um, what seeds are you sowing? Okay, that's gonna be a good topic next live. That's gonna be the topic for my. What seeds are you sowing? Okay. All right. Bye bye, y'all. I'll see y'all later.